Because you don't need 20 friends. You just need 3 motherfuckers and you can take over a country. Okay, that's what we're confused as Americans. We think we need all these motherfuckers. You give me 3 bad motherfuckers and you're finished. You understand me? You're fucking finished because we got each other.
All right. Whew. Mind on Matters, Season 2, Episode 3, back in the building. The show that everybody wants to marry.
Hey.
How we feeling?
Good, Jake.
Feel good.
Sorry.
I feel good. Had a good weekend, you know. I'm in good spirits. By the way, I've read all the hate mail. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'll do my best to continue that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So Nova has elected to take the role of the villain on this show. We have no problems with that because he thrives in that role. So
Yeah.
no problem.
He's born in the darkness.
Dre the Peace God. How the hell are you, sir?
Oh, I'm excellent. Great week. My energy been super high, as I said. Just passing out the positive vibes, trying to give it off to you two and many other people that I can affect.
I like it.
What about yourself?
I'm doing good. I was riding high off your energy. I had a good week. Had a good couple workouts in. You know what I mean? I've been taking this
Look it, man.
I've been taking this testosterone supplement.
Huh?
I've been trying to tear shit down all the time, yo. Oh my God, bro. I'm walking around the house like fucking daydreaming like something about to get fucked up out here. Tell you, boy. But now I feel good.
Yeah.
Recording live from Nada Media Group, Roselle Park, New Jersey. If you got a podcast out there and you're looking for a place to record in New Jersey, you need to bring your ass to this studio right here. Holla at my boys. But yeah, so far, episode 3, we talked about the dating scene, the urine-infested dating pool out there. We also talked about last week what men and women should bring to the table. So we said, let's round up that conversation about, you know, romance, love, relationships in general. And typically speaking, at least here in America, a lot of relationships end in marriage if everything goes right. I'm a married man. We felt like it'd be a good topic to talk about marriage. But there's a lot of people that's married. But a conversation that doesn't really get talked about is, why the hell you say yes? So when somebody gets proposed to, usually the woman, she gets asked that question. It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no question. Pretty simple. But there's a conversation that needs to be had with a man himself before he gets down on one knee and proposes. And that's a deep conversation that you got to have with yourself. I've had that conversation. Dre, peace God, you've had that conversation.
I had that conversation. Yep.
Jay, I'm thinking you might be having that.
We're not having that conversation.
In the midst,
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about that. Maybe.
Talk about it.
But it is a real conversation. We do have a lot of male listeners that listen to this show. And you might be in a situation where you got a girl that you've been rocking with for a couple of years or something like that. You might be having the same conversation. So we're a show that likes to talk about life issues. And yeah, let's have a conversation about why say yes. All right, so for me, marriage in this country is a little weird. Why? Marriage is a beautiful thing. But as a man, you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons of marriage. Because the society that we live in today, there is a lot of things that you have to consider, and especially from the family court aspect. So let's say you married the wrong person, right? And she's like, I'm going to divorce your ass. Here in America, she might get half.
She's
You
likely
don't
she's likely she gonna
You don't
get
work
half.
up your
likely.
whole empire just to give it away to this Jezebel of the night who's going to take all your stuff, or at least half of your stuff. So you got to keep that in mind when you talk about, I love this woman, but is she vindictive? Is she spiteful? If we did break up, is she going to try to take the kids, the house, the car, the clothes? She want it all? Like,
She want it all.
she want it all.
She want it all.
So you got to kind of keep that in mind. When you're in a situation where you're in a serious relationship, and Nova, I'll start with you. What do you think is like some of the things that a man should consider before he even thinks about popping the question?
I think you got to look at everything in its totality. A lot of times when you're in a deep relationship and you feel like you're approaching that point on thinking about asking the question. I mean, for me, Mr. Logic, first thing I think about is I'm thinking long-term financially. Where am I at? Is this sustainable? Am I making the right decision in this? Am I making the decision in the moment? Have I thought everything through? How is she with finances? How is she with family? Everything comes into play. It's more than just an emotional decision. And I think that's where we are, like you said, here in America now. Marriage has turned into, it's evolved from, you know, something you do when you love somebody to, it's grown more into a partnership.
Yeah.
And
a business partnership.
A business partnership at that.
Business.
100%.
So now you have to roll into it with, you know, you can have your emotions here, but you have to have the business aspect and acumen here. You can't go into business with a bad partner. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it from that aspect.
Yeah, so I think that agreed that we all agree that it should be a business partnership, but also that balance of love and how that person can help you be the best version of yourself and build upon yourself. You know, I think we as men we do go through a process of can is this person's finances good, but at the same time we like, I really enjoy this person's company.
Yeah,
I really like this person, so I want to spend the rest of my life with them and everything. So you know, it's all those thoughts that Nove said I agree with. I just want to add that, like, you just can't take the emotion away from that, because it's an emotional decision that's going to be made anyway.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, but you should definitely use a good amount of logic within that decision, because as you said, though, you can propose and marry the wrong person, and next thing you know, your whole life is upended.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's it's definitely pros and cons to go one way or the other. But I will say that if you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to play house, though, that shit could get real messy, bro. Like, if you really in a situation where you're going to be with somebody for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and y'all just living together, like, those conversations get real murky when you start talking about, like, life decisions. Not even life decisions, like regular stuff, like what kind of washer or dryer you want to get. Sort of like, well, bitch, your name ain't on the house. Like, I don't have to ask you your opinion, but out of respect, I will. But if they want to put their foot down or have some type of input in the relationship, it's kind of like, I'm paying for everything. You ain't my wife, or you ain't my boyfriend. It's sort of like, you got to kind of have some kind of partnership, because you can leave at any time, and I'm stuck with your washer and dryer. So it's like, I ain't trying to get stuck in no situation like that. Jay, what you got to say? Because the way how you put your argument on is like, you kind of have all the choice in the matter. But if it's already a partnership, wouldn't you have that conversation and be like, hey, what type of washer and dryer should you have? If you're a partnership, it shouldn't just be like what you want, regardless of possible negative outcome of the situation could come. It shouldn't be about what you two together is supposed to be a team and everything. But
it's one of those things where, looking at your point, but going off of yours, like, yeah, you're right. It's supposed to be a partnership, but as you just so eloquently said, we're supposed to be a team. Not everybody on the team is rolling the same way. So, I mean, I guess that comes down to the partner of the aspect. Like, it really comes down to your partner. Like, before you even ask that question as a man, I feel like before you ask that question, there should be no questions what type of partner you have. So whatever you're doing, whichever way you're going,
however your vetting process
you
is,
should know. It shouldn't be any lingering shit like, oh, I wonder if I ask this question, are we still going to be in a predicament to be able to do this? Like, you should already have answered that question or seen enough to feel comfortable making the decision you're about to make.
All right, so whenever you aligning yourself with somebody in a serious relationship, whether it's marriage or otherwise, you definitely got to know what type of person they are at the core of their being. Whether or not you're dealing with somebody that's got very high in greed or envy or spitefulness, or they don't deal with conflict well, that shit is all 100% important. But kind of to your point, people change, yo. people change. And, you know, men and women, we not perfect. Sometimes we make mistakes. We do stuff. You know, a lot of people step out of their marriage, step out of their relationships, get caught up in infidelity and stuff like that. And it may be kind of hard to forgive after that. And you might be left with a person that you are agreeing to be with, but your partner might be scorned forever. So you might be dealing with somebody that was with you 100% loyal to the soil, but you did something that might have changed the way they looked at you.
Change
so it's
the
sort of like
dynamic of the relationship.
So if we're going to get a divorce now, or if we're going to break up now, yeah, I'm taking the TV because you was a piece of shit and you cheated on me 3 years ago or something like that. So I get that part. But knowing who the person you align yourself with, your teammate, who they are at their core has to be the single most important factor into whether or not a man is going to get married to his woman or a woman is going to say yes to this man. The problem I see is I see a lot of people get married to the wrong person. And you kind of hear it in conversations. You might be talking to a coworker or a friend or a family member, and you'd be like, they did what? You let them do what? It's like, what the hell is going on with this?
Yeah, so I think to your point, though, a lot of people like to get married for the status of being married. So they really don't find out.
It's alluring. It's like a magic thing that we arrive at.
Yeah, they don't really find out who that person is until they're in it, and they be like, I really don't even like you. Like, why did I choose to be with you?
And that's some scary
and everything.
shit.
So they took the sacredcy out of marriage, just so they can have the title of Mr. and Mrs. whoever.
Right.
And all that stuff. So, or they can put it on social media as, oh, this is my wife. This is what we're doing. Next thing you know, they can have a podcast, but you can see it. You know, they can see that they had problems off the podcast and all that stuff. I'm just saying.
I feel like you was about to go a place, and I want to get to that. You can't discount the scariness of one, marrying or aligning yourself up with the wrong person, but also the scariness of the biological clock too. Because you got people that's 38, 39 out here. Like, yo, do I really want to be 60 single?
Ouch.
Do I want to be yo? We all got grandmothers. We all got or had grandmothers, right?
Yes. Yes, we all have grandmothers.
Imagine your grandma, 70 years old, being somebody's girlfriend. Oh my God. It makes my skin crawl thinking about like my granny like being somebody's girlfriend. Is she referring to that dude that's a boyfriend? Oh,
nah, it's never gonna be the boyfriend. Granny's never gonna say a boyfriend. Gonna say that's my special friend.
Yeah,
you know how that goes.
That's my special friend.
My grandmother had a friend, and I didn't ever meet him. I think my dad met him, but he was always, oh, that's my friend, and everything. So like that's how they would be. My grandmother would have never said boyfriend. Never.
All right. Well, you know what? You go what I'm trying
That's
to
my
say.
friend.
You know what I mean?
That's my special
Bob.
friend.
Bob, his name was.
That's
but
really
like, unless your grandma is like widowed, hopefully that's not the case. But like, I don't want to think about my grandmother being single, yo. That's kind of. I'm gonna feel like I need to be the man of her life on that one. Like, it's like I don't like that.
Nah,
it's not good. Nobody wants to be old and lonely, bro.
I agree.
I think a lot of people out here, they'll get married for the wrong reasons because they don't want to be alone. Because it is scary. You don't want to be 45 living in the house by yourself, and you just career oriented, coming home from overtime just to cook, lean cuisines in the microwave every night.
Yeah,
so it's sort of like
get there in front of the TV.
Yeah, loneliness is scary just as much as marrying the wrong person.
Yeah.
Right?
I think they go hand in hand now. I think there's some semblance between that. I think a lot of times people will marry somewhat because, it's almost like, you know what, we might as well just take it here. Since we're on the weekend in the NFL draft, best player available. May not be the best person for me.
Yeah.
It's best person available. Nobody wants to be that person when the music stops, game of musical chairs, you're by yourself. So I guess it's one of those things as to where it's like, you know what? They check off enough boxes for me just to make it through. We're going to make it through. And then when you get later into the season, since we're rolling this way, you're looking around, it's like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like who I got pulling the strings right now. And that's when you get in trouble. You start looking out, start broadcasting like, it's some prospects out here. I don't know if I want to play for this team no more.
Let's have another draft.
I want to trade.
Yeah. I want to trade or time to upgrade, get that new phone. You know how you do.
Yeah.
After your 2-year contract is up.
Well,
so
that that alone has been one of the many reasons why it's just been like, yeah, as much as I feared being, that one older person alone, the other part of that spectrum being with the wrong person, no.
Yeah.
No.
That weighs definitely heavier on me to deal with the wrong person or feel like I put in time with the wrong person instead of just being alone. Like, yeah, being alone is scary as shit. Scary as hell. I think about that shit all the time. Like, yo, am I gonna be alone? But nah, I don't want to deal with that wrong person. Next thing you know, it's really tearing away from my soul and my spirit and how the type of energy I want to put off. Like, we all seen that movie, Why Did I Get Married, right?
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. They got that 80-20 rule, right? So you want to find a person that's going to be at least close to 80 as much as possible. And whatever percentage they're lacking, you're just going to have to compromise somewhat settle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe make up for it.
Or make up for it in some other ways, And depending on how your marriage is set up, they got this, polyamory? I can't say the word.
Yeah, polyamory.
Polyamory.
That's for all you freaks out there. I don't know what the hell y'all doing. That's wild. I've ran into a couple of y'all.
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with one of y'all. Y'all are nuts. What the hell are y'all doing?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
What?
Like, go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, you can have situations like that if you are into that. But you want to find somebody that's going to at least be the majority of what you're looking for.
Let me say something to y'all swingers right quick. Stay the hell away from me.
Oh, man.
Do not try to get me caught up in y'all shit, man, because y'all being super duper reckless in DMs and text messages and all type of stuff,
Yeah,
bro.
swingers?
Huh?
Yeah, swinger come at you?
Yes. Multiple.
Really?
Multiple, bro.
Wow.
Multiple.
Man, maybe we got to show that for another show.
All right.
I mean, unless finances get tight, I'm not interested. I don't want no problems.
So if the cash was on the table, it'd be a debate.
It depends on my debt to income ratio.
Wow.
And I had to have a conversation with my beautiful wife as well. If we need money, I'm taking one for the team, baby. You ain't got to worry about it. I'm taking care of the household, even if I got to take care of somebody else's. Oh man!
Wow.
But anywho, that was a joke. But nah, for real though. So it's 2022. Society is what it is, right? And I like to say, let's keep it a bean.
Mm-hmm.
We know what type of woman is out here. The 2022 woman is a beast, bro. Very career oriented.
Yeah.
Very independent. A lot of women out there with masculine energies. Very, if you leave, that's cool. I'll be okay.
Yep.
I don't need you. What are you cooking tonight?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that out there. And to all y'all out there that's thriving with that attitude, keep it up. We love to see it and all y'all successes. It can be very difficult as a man to deal with that, though. And it's like, it takes a lot of humbling to deal with somebody who is very open with the fact that this partnership is a mutual 50-50 situation, which is a far cry from how our parents grew up, where the man was the breadwinner. I'm going to go to work, you stay home, take care of the kids, and whenever I need you, I'll knock on your door or whatever like that. It's a lot different out here. So, 2022, neither one of y'all are married, but I'm pretty sure, just gauging off conversations we had off air, that neither one of y'all are against marriage.
Oh, no.
But what's y'all thoughts on getting married? Is it necessary?
I think, yeah, I think it is necessary because I feel like there has to be some progression, right? Like nobody, like going off what you said earlier, what we were talking about, like I never want to hear my grandmother say, "Hey, this is my little boo thing right here."
Oh God, that's
At the same time, I don't want to be 50 something talking about, "Hey, that's my little girlfriend right here." That sounds weird to me.
And don't let it be like 20 years younger.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
Or the other part of that is like, yeah, if you're in a relationship and see me myself, I fall into the majority of men that feel this way. When I do get married, when I foresee myself getting married, I don't foresee myself being in that relationship mad long before it happens though. Like,
You feel like you'll know fairly early on.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of got to know, because I feel like at some point, I feel like I would have it already feels like we are, why do it? And I don't want to fall into that.
Would you ever get married to a woman that you did not live with?
No.
How long would you have to live with them?
At least a year and a half. At least.
Dre, what you think?
I would. I could not live with somebody and still want to have that same attraction and affection for them. So I would marry somebody if I was feeling that person like that. I agree with Nove that I don't take long to figure out if this person's for me or if I want to be with this person. Right. So from my own experience, like, it was a short time and I was down on one knee asking. So, yeah. But again, I didn't live with her I did live with her at the time I did that, but it wasn't long. It wasn't a long time. So I think you do know. You do know.
What are you talking about? You would get married to some chick that you didn't live with?
Yeah, if I knew her, yeah. Like, if we're dating and we're courting each other, yeah.
But hold on. How would you know, like, how y'all will maneuver in the same tight spaces? So it's sort of like, yo, let me get this point out.
Go ahead.
When y'all have conflict, y'all go home to y'all respective homes. You got a chance to cool off, calm down, get your shit together, come back, and we'll get them next week, coach.
You about to say some true shit.
When you married or you in a long-term relationship, well, not even before that, when you living together, we in the same bed. And we got to, like, look at each other like, what we doing for dinner?
Got close.
Oh, you got questions. Now you want to talk to me. It's like that whole aspect of, like, living in the same place for at least, I'm going to say a year and a half at minimum.
Yeah.
But, like, yo, knowing that you can maneuver with somebody, their hygiene practices, how they conduct their house, what they do with their money, all that stuff you got to kind of know before you get up in there.
But to go against what you're saying, that you do have to know that, but you can still see that why because it's not like you're not going to her house though. It's not like you're not hanging out or she's not coming over. You're gonna see the hygiene practice. Like, if that person is comfortable with you, they're gonna be themselves when you come over. It's not like you're not gonna sleep over there at times. It's not like you're not gonna have that conflict. You still can have those conflicts.
If you just visit in the crib, you always gonna get a representative, bro. You're not gonna get the real person. Yo, chicks going get their house ready for you to come over, bro. That's different from you being there and being on some shit. In
the first few months of dating, you might get that, but if it's freaking 5-6 down the road, you're not gonna get that. You're gonna get this person. Right. At least in my experience, that's what I've gotten.
All right, so let me say this. I understand what he's saying. I'm gonna play devil's advocate, so I'm gonna play the middle role. I understand what you're saying as far as when you're dealing with somebody long enough, you do get to see a little bit of their normalcy and everything else. Yeah. However, all that being said, there is nothing like, as I've dubbed it, close quarter combat. Like, yeah, it's a difference. Like, don't let that little whiff of comfortability compare to, like, every day, wake up, we're in the same space. Like, it's a difference between, it goes beyond the whole thing of upkeep and housekeeping and everything else. Like, it's close quarters. Like, you're in this person's space. That factor alone changes everything. There's no decompression mode. There's no separation. There's no time to be like, you know what? You go here, I'm going to go here. Especially if it's we're in Jersey. So unless you out here, selling some stuff on the side with my man Franklin Saint, you got one of those apartments that works for you. You got one of those apartments that work for you, which means it's decent space for you. But if you add somebody else with all of their stuff, that adds to it. And God forbid, let's not even get into the most fireball portion of this. What are you bringing? What are you leaving? That's a whole debate in itself.
You talking about, like, personal property?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm taking this couch. No, you're not. What?
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, if y'all ain't living together and you going over her crib, in this particular example that we talking about, you're a guest.
Yeah.
You're a guest in my house. The arguments get different when your name is on the lease. So like, we doing what? No, we're not doing that. It's not like we get into an argument that's really deep. She could be like, okay, get the fuck out. if you got a problem with that, you can leave.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I live here now.
And
so now we got to sit down and actually deal with this before we go to bed.
But in that scenario, if whatever woman I'm dealing with talks to me like that or says that to me, I probably don't need to be with her anyway.
I mean,
I probably don't need to be with her anyway, because if she gonna kick me out of her crib, or if I just kick her out of my crib,
right,
and everything, then we probably shouldn't be together in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? If we got to that point in this scenario, but if we are working towards, you know, a longer relationship, a marriage, possibly, you know what I'm saying? Even if we stayed in two separate places, you still can have that same bond and all that stuff. I get that y'all say that the conflict.
I can't disagree with that.
I get y'all. I get what y'all saying about the conflict is different. Like when both of y'all names is on the leash, y'all both got more to lose,
absolutely,
and everything. But I still feel like those same conflicts of even if you're sleeping in your own bed or her, is she in her own bed, you still go to bed with that same conflict on your mind and all that stuff. So
I guess what I'm saying is like the way you deal with conflict when you in conflict with somebody that's in a shared responsibility, it's a little different than doing conflict with somebody who's like kind of like a guest in my house or whatever like that. It's sort of like, yo, our lease, we got 8 months left on this lease. We're both pissed off at each other. We can handle this the healthy way, or we could break up. But guess what? If we living together, breaking up ain't so fucking easy. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like you kind of get forced into these situations where a person has to bring their conflict mediation to a certain level in order for y'all to have a certain conversation. Whereas if you didn't live together, that person might say like, well, if we don't talk for a few days because we beefing, I'm cool with that. Or if we just text messaging with each other, I'm cool with that. I'm not saying we're going to break up, but it just takes a little bit of space, cool off, and we'll talk. You don't get that opportunity to do that when you're living together.
In that same token, even if you living together and you like, oh, we're going to break up, one person could just leave the house.
And go wherever
they can, though.
What you gonna do about rent? Because now we paying $2,300 a month. I'm gonna leave and go get another apartment and pay half of your rent too. Like, what the hell am I?
Now that's
it
right there. Now this is where I come in when it comes to this whole living together situation. There's no amount of me being over your house as many times as I've been over there, or you've been over mine, that's going to account for how we're handling finances, responsibilities, what we're taking care of, what we're not taking care of,
Absolutely.
What directions we're going. What are we doing? What are we buying? Groceries can become a whole argument.
Oh, shit.
Let's not even go there. But like upkeep, daily things, who's responsible for what? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Like those are things that come up in the midst and before you live with somebody. I can't simulate that coming over twice or 3 times a week. I might do things that I'm supposed to do those 2 to 3 times a week, but I'm not there. So technically, I have no stake in that. It's the epitome of there's drivers, there's passengers. I feel like before you're living with somebody, you're a passenger. You're there for the ride. You're there. You have no effect of which way this car is going. Once you sign that lease and you in there, y'all both in that, you're both drivers. There's a lot of decisions that's got to be made. Everybody ain't going to have their hand on the wheel at one time. So that's where it comes down to. It's a responsibility thing after that, and a deeper investment thing after that.
So to contrast what you're saying, you saying that 2 or 3 days or however many days you go over the crib, you can't get a gauge of what this person.
No.
Oh my God!
Dre, you are living in a fantasy land.
I am not living in the fantasy land.
I love you,
no,
but yo,
Nah,
you can't, bro. You are a guest. And
I disagree, fellas.
You're getting a level of a representative of the woman that you could have.
5,
Why?
6, 7 months down the road.
5, 6, 7 months.
I don't believe that.
Why?
I don't believe that.
All right. How about this?
Mm.
I've been in that situation.
I have too.
I see you 2 or 3 times a week. I come over. I spend the night 2 or 3 times a week or something like that. I am so much looking forward to that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday that it's all peace. Why? Because I've been looking forward to this shit since the last time we was together. And it's this level of like serendipity, harmony, where it's sort of like, I just enjoy your company. You just want to keep this shit pleasant. When it's Monday through Sunday, 5, 6, 7 months down the line, it's different, bro. Because it's sort of like, it's going to be some time that we have a disagreement. We're going to have an argument. It's going to be something that you do that I don't particularly like. The fucking food bill. I'm broke. You got to take care of the groceries. What you going to do? Go out there and buy stuff that you can only eat? and you got to cook. It's sort of like, it's stuff like that. It's like, you can get a gauge at what you're saying. You can get an absolute gauge, but you can't get no concrete answers until you actually live with that person and move in their space. Because now it's y'all space. So, and guess what? The same way that we're evaluating the woman, she's now evaluating you to see if you're good husband material.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you still should be able to get a gauge. I didn't say it was concrete. I didn't say anything. So yes, I feel like you should be able to get a gauge without living. That's how you pose the question in the beginning.
I did pose whether or not you could get a good gauge.
Yes.
But what I did say was, could you get a good gauge of whether or not you would actually marry this woman? I wouldn't know whether or not I would marry this person until I actually live with them on a consistent basis. Because while we playing this whole 2 or 3 times a week shit, all I'm bringing is dick and a good time and maybe a bottle of sangria. Outside of that, it's like, I'm not bringing no responsibilities. You're not bringing any responsibilities.
But you can though, right? As the man, you can if she needs something that's taken care of in a home or something that she needs help with something, or you would just say, I'll buy your groceries this week because I'm coming over this week or whatever.
Here's the one
and all that stuff. So I want to eat this.
But here's the one problem with that.
I mean, what?
Like, I understand what you're saying, and you're right. You can do those little things, but in the grand scope, that's all they are, little things, bare minimum. Can't get away with that when you live with somebody. Like, it's about to dredge up some memories. But all right, so
sorry, person.
One of the things that I didn't account for when I was in that situation a while ago was you never realize exactly how much energy you give and take from somebody. So having somebody in your presence changes you. Sometimes for the positive, sometimes for the negative. You take on a lot of their traits. You take on a lot of their personality traits. You take on a lot of their bad habits. There was one time where I've never been so behind when it came to bills or anything else other than when I was living with this person. Why? That's what they did. You know what? I'll leave it off. I'll do this. I'll do that. Now, going into that, I had a set routine. I was very rigid with it. But when you live with somebody, you adopt and adapt to certain things.
Yeah.
And it's a positive and a negative. You can't get that gauge just by visiting somebody. Another thing, like what you said before, as far as doing stuff like groceries, taking trash out, cleaning up, that's cool. Now, let's say I'll give you a situation. You've been dealing with this person for a while. You notice, they come to you every once in a while like, hey, I'm behind on this. You think you can help me out? Good man, you are. Sure, why not? I got it. You know what? I'm willing to help you. It's not until you live.
I have it, though.
If you have it. Now, it's not until you live with that person. It's not until you live with that person that you figure out why they're behind. Then that plays into the whole thing of, oh, so you have it, but you spend it on this knowing, okay, so you're not financially responsible. Oh, okay, so this is going to be a thing because this has not changed.
100%.
So to your statement though, would you not ask questions after probably the second time they ask you for help? Like, all right, what's going on? What's your routine? Let me see where I can help you make adjustments where you can have it better, where you won't be asking for help.
I love this one. What did we just say in the last episode? I can lie.
And we've all lied. You've lied. I've lied.
I can lie.
Nova's lied. You a faithful person?
I can lie.
And that's one person you shouldn't marry then.
But you're not going to see that.
But no, you would see that though. You would see that.
Let's turn the corner.
Go ahead.
We got some other stuff to talk about. But before we do that, let's take a time to shout out our social medias. Instagram, @MindOnMatters. Shoot us a follow. We're going to be putting up some dope reels, some dope posts. Make sure you follow us on that. We also got the Mind On Matters YouTube page. We're going to be putting up content on there. You'll be able to check out the full episode on YouTube at the Mind On Matters page. We also have a Facebook group, a Facebook page. And that's also, guess what? Mind On Matters. So we Mind On Matters on everything. And we're thinking about getting into the Twitter space and the TikTok space. Let us know what we should do on that one.
Nova's going to be dancing.
Yes. All the TikTok dances.
You believe the bullshit if you want to.
You know what I'm saying? But all right, getting back into it. But first, it's time to reload. I need to get a shot. We need to take a celebratory shot for our 3rd episode. Right? That makes sense, right?
I'm with it.
So this episode has been sponsored by whiskey. I'm not going to say the name. Gentlemen,
your glass is empty, buddy.
it's got cola in it.
It's got what?
Cola.
It's got cola in it.
Oh, okay.
Cola.
Poor minds. So, in celebration of 3 episodes, Mondo Matters, and all y'all out there that's taking a journey with us, salute to y'all and cheers. All right, Jay, it's not a shot, son. Jesus Christ, you getting into it?
Laid into that motherfucker, man.
Did he not say celebratory shot?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, whatever.
We're gonna leave it alone.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Man.
Sorry,
I peer pressed that one.
you did.
But anywho, getting back to the conversation about marriage, the why say yes. Obviously, there's 2 sides of that scenario. Man's got to make that determination with himself why to get married. The woman's got to make the decision why she's going to say yes. And we're going to get into that in a quick bit because we got some feedback from a couple of questions I put out there, or that we put out as a show about why women say yes to the man. Okay. So we're going to read a couple of emails that we got about that one. But as far as, because we all guys, I think.
We're all guys. Come on, bro.
I don't know.
Come on. Yeah, please.
So,
After that. Man.
When we make the decision that we're going to marry somebody, that is, in my opinion, because I made that decision, the single most important question that you can ask of somebody else ever in your life. If y'all can think of something more important than that, y'all let me know. And if y'all think of something else, y'all let me know out there in the comment section. Right? But let's say you in a relationship with somebody, it's serious, and you look at this person like a special somebody that you want a part of your life. Mm-hmm. When you ask them to marry you, you're asking them to become a part of your family now. All right? So I read this interesting tweet, and I took a screenshot of it a couple months ago, where this girl had said, everybody thinks marriage is just a piece of paper until it comes down to putting their name in the obituary. And then you go into the obituary and it says, oh, special companion, Melissa. Like she a fucking German Shepherd or something like that.
Yeah, that's a dog.
Like she's a dog.
That's a dog.
Steve.
It's all a piece of paper up until it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you with this person, y'all sitting up there. Some of y'all that's listening to the show is probably playing house with somebody, not married, building a family. And I'm not knocking y'all if y'all got y'all
whatever situation
stuff together. That's fine. Y'all, as far as I'm concerned, if you're taking care of y'all kids, I'm cool. Y'all figure it out. That's cool. But like, let's say you die. Who gonna pay for the funeral? All the stuff that y'all bought into y'all house, that y'all financing, that car, the mortgage payment, the kids' tuition, the college savings, those healthcare bills, them ambulance visits, the ER visits, ambulance trips, the ER visits. Who's paying for that after you die? Because if we're not married, you're not obligated to get nothing, man or woman. So it's sort of like that whole playing house stuff, I'm totally against it. So I feel like, fellas, at least as far as I'm concerned, if you out there and you got a woman and you having kids with her and y'all building a family, I kind of think it's important, and I always say this affectionately, to have one name on the mailbox. When you think about like these companies, Mercedes-Benz or Louis Vuitton, these are all last names, yo. And it's all about, to me, legacy. And also having that business partnership as well. You don't want to be in a position where you're in a relationship 8 years with somebody and God forbid you get sick or pass away or something like that and they get left with all your stuff. It's like, what do I got to show for it? Special companion. That sucks, yo. That really sucks.
Or life partner.
Or life partner. Until I'm dead. And then it's like what are you supposed to do with that? What's y'all thoughts on playing house?
I don't like it. It comes off very it comes off lazy. Like, if you're gonna roll the dice, you might as well just roll the dice. Like, I mean, you can't be half in or half out. So I feel like the problem with that, like I was stating before, this is part of the reason why I don't particularly see myself having one of those long periods. Like, you get into that little syndrome of, well, you know, we already technically married. Like, what's the point? But yeah, there's a point. Like, good
it's
friend
like,
of mine.
technically, you're not.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
go
I
ahead.
mean, in some states, you know that they got that common law.
Yeah, the Virginia common law thing.
Yeah,
but
so-
of course, like I was
I
having
think
a
Jersey has
discussion.
it too, actually.
But I was having a discussion yesterday. I said, well, technically, you know, Virginia common law, but yeah, technically you're not. And it's like, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal, especially when you mention the obituary thing. Old friend of mine, Donald Crosby, used to say, like, yeah, marriage doesn't matter until, you know, you need somebody to bury you.
That's a fact,
Like,
man.
yeah, it comes into play.
Ain't nothing like having your
play.
girl be like, well, I haven't been through it because I haven't died, but ain't nothing like having your significant other be like, oh, just cremate him. Like, what? Who came up with that?
Now you have to respect my wishes.
Right. And that's where, like,
Yeah.
people who do play house, they don't get into the
They don't get
the
into those
legalities of,
conversations,
like, let me come up with a living will with this partner, or let's go to court and have this, you know, common law or whatever like that. It's like stuff like that don't ever come up in conversations, at least as far as people that I know. I know dudes that's out there playing house. They've been with their girls for like 15, 20 years, and it's sort of like, bro, if you passed away, you have no life insurance policy on this or nothing.
So
20 years.
let me ask this question to y'all. Why do you think they play house?
There is enough cons out there for a young man or even a middle-aged man to not get married. I'll be the first to admit that as a married man. It's scary as shit. Up until, and I'll be perfectly honest and transparent, Jay, you was there. Up until the point of you actually going out to the altar or whatever like that to say yes, the nerves and all the thoughts in your head that's going about, I'm 30, I'm 24 years old, I'm 26, I'm 32, I'm 40 years old. I'm about to make a decision in just a couple of words to say I'm about to spend the rest of my life with this person. You start thinking about every single argument you ever had, every single disagreement y'all ever had, every single time y'all quote unquote broke up and got back together, and you like, I don't get to do none of that no more, technically speaking. Obviously, divorce is an option, even though I think people run to that a little bit too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But you're having that conversation right up until the altar, like, yo, am I sure I want to do this? And when you concrete and resolute in the person that you're marrying and that beautiful bride come walking down, the answer is always yes. Yes. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. But it is a question. Why do people play house? I think it's a safe way for them to have some of the benefits of marriage, but always having an exit just in case you get crazy. You get what I mean? But you also have some special scenarios where somebody might have did something shady in a relationship. I can never really trust you like that. I don't trust you with my money. I love you though. So it's sort of like, why play house still, right?
Exactly. Why put yourself through that? Why still
It
be
all
in
goes
that?
back to the first conversation. People don't want to be alone. And if you playing house with kids, it's very hard to break up and be on some shit like, yo, I'm about to be a mother of 3 by myself if we break up. We've been playing house so long and built this family. I don't feel comfortable breaking up with this man because he bringing in the majority of the bread. It's hard.
You said something right there that's very telling, and actually, I feel like that's a large reason it happens. Comfort. You get to a point of comfort.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it can be attributed to, I mean, it goes back to what somebody used to say to me, like, you know, people only do what you allow. So if you're allowing something to happen, it's going to stay until something has changed. If I'm not getting pressure or I don't feel pressure to pop any question, I'm going to stay there.
Good fucking point, yo.
Yeah,
I'm not going to change
Good
my
fucking
course
point,
of
bro.
action.
Great point.
The other side of that is you can pressure me all you want, but if I don't do anything and you don't do anything, nothing's going to change.
Great fucking point, yo.
So that's part of the reason. Like, it comes down to comfort, and it comes down to what you allow and what you accept. If you're allowing me to play house, I'm gonna play fucking house.
Oh my God. Preach, man.
That's it.
To all the ladies out there that's listening to this show, if you've been in a relationship with your man for more than 5 years and or y'all got kids and you haven't asked that man what we doing yet, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Or at least had a conversation about being married. That's something. At some point.
At least, at the very least, have an idea how that person feel about marriage.
Exactly.
That dude might be like, "Oh, I ain't never getting married."
Yeah, exactly.
And that's your answer.
And that's your answer. And if you cool with that,
hey, fine.
And that's what it comes down to. If you're cool with what happens after you, ladies, if you're cool with what happens after you ask a man, so we've been together about 4, 5, 6 years. What are we doing? Get married? How do you feel about marriage?
I don't see myself doing that.
I ain't giving no thought. You ain't giving no thought in 5 years? You ain't giving no thought in 5 years.
If you find yourself with a man
Red
like
flag.
that, if you find yourself with a man like that, ladies, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you know what to do. And if you don't do it,
that choice is yours, man.
It's on you.
And I don't want to be so opaque. So I'm going to say this. No say he ain't going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what you should do, right? What you should do is not sign no contracts with this person. I'm not co-signing nothing with you. If he want to play house, have his name be on the lease. Don't put yourself in no situation where you have any financial obligation with this man in case he leaves or you want to leave. I'm not getting stuck with your car payment, sir. I'm not getting stuck with your medical bills, sir. None of that. I'm not on your life insurance policy. I'm not a beneficiary. I'm not nothing. Don't put yourself in nothing where y'all got the same bank accounts.
Oh, no.
Nope. None of that.
No.
Nope.
Play house, cool. Play house smart. Don't be stupid.
That's the quote of the day. Play house smart.
Play house smart. All right, so getting back to the whole why say yes. Is it cool if we read a couple emails of why? We got 2 emails from women that had said yes to their spouse. One is newlywed, one been in a relationship for a while or married for a while. I feel like we should read their responses, why they said yes to them men. Right? So these come from a couple of listeners of the show. The first one is called from JJ, who's been married since 2018. And the question was, what thoughts went through your mind when determining whether or not you wanted to marry this man? The answer was, I really had to think about if he was someone that I wanted to share a life with. Was he going to be a good father and stepfather? Turns out he's the best. I thought I could really see myself going through all of life's toughest obstacles with him. If things got difficult, would he leave me or would we work through it? The second question was, what were the main reasons you felt sure that you wanted to get engaged in the first place? She says, I knew I wanted to get engaged because I knew that we were in love and loved each other. Those 2 things are different. Let me read that again.
Yes, please.
I knew I wanted to get engaged because I knew we were in love and loved each other. Those 2 things are different. Okay. I feel safest when I'm with him and free to be myself. I don't mind following his lead because I know he's going to lead us in the right direction, but also he listens to me as well. And this last one, which is they answer this question in the second email as well. Given all the social media exposure and many married couples given the world intimate looks into their marriage, what does marriage mean to you given the society that we live in today, which is what we're going to talk about last. Marriage is still very special to me. You can't allow outsiders to give opinions on the union that you form. It's okay to show pieces of your married life if that's your thing, but have a look but don't touch mentality. I like that. To explain it, it's like saying, hey, we are, but we don't you dare think about you can judge. We are what we are, but don't think about you can judge what we are. Your partner has to be your best friend in marriage. Your marriage is a lifetime commitment. Thoughts?
Agree.
100% agree.
100%
agree.
Especially about the part about that being in love and loving somebody being different
things, bro.
It's different. It's different.
I've been married for 2 years, but I've been with my wife for 10 years or going on 10 years. So it's been close to like 10 years. That's the truest shit ever spoken ever. Being in love with somebody is a state of being. It's just what you're in.
Yep.
But that commitment to love is different. It's so like, I'm going to make a conscious choice every single day and wake up and love you as you are. Because you might not be the same person you was yesterday. But no matter how much you change, I'm going to love you regardless. It's the unconditional love.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It's only one. I have a stepson I love to death. You got a son.
Mm-hmm.
Love him to death. If somebody ever came to you and gave you a choice, like, yo, you want to be a father? What type of question is that? I'm committed to that every single day. It's not like a question of like, oh yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna stop being a father today.
Yeah.
You could fall in and out of love though, but you can't ever leave that commitment to the love you have for your child. In the moment that you say I do to a person, your wife or your husband, you're making that commitment every single day. I'm your wife. Every single day, I'm your husband. That does not change. And most people who get married say that in the eyes of God. You know what I'm saying? It's a pastor. It's a reverend. Yeah. It's somebody from a religious sect that's giving you words out the Bible. That you saying, yo, I'm going to stay with you for the rest of my life no matter what. I think people really don't understand
Sickness
that whole
and health,
concept,
death do us part, right?
Till death do us part. No matter what. You're going to be a dad for the rest of your life, no matter what.
No matter what.
You're not going to give up that title. But anywho, we got some responses from Jada. Her and her husband is newlyweds. Answer the same questions. So to the question about what thoughts went through your mind when determining whether or not you want to marry this man, she said, I wanted to marry someone that could be my partner in life, but also allow us both to exist in our worlds separately in our separate lives. I wanted someone who I could trust to lead me and teach me, but do the same for our future generation. I saw very early that the husband was all of that and more, so it was reassuring. I didn't want to say his name because they want to keep their identities private. To the question, what were the main reasons you felt sure that you wanted to get engaged? She says, prior to meeting him, I was going through a lot of self-reflection. I was in therapy. I was doing Bible study, reading autobiographies, etc. I think by doing the work, I felt prepared. So when he proposed, it was a surprise, but I knew it was coming that way. We already shared so much of our lives, and we were just ready to move to the next step. And to the question about social media exposure and everybody showing their married life, she says, I love how some couples share details of their lives. And sometimes I think we could share a little bit more of ours, but I'm so private and protective of our relationship. I don't want to put too much out there because once it's out, you can't pull it back. I like the low key element of our relationship, but I'll always be transparent if need be. My marriage is sacred. I present my issues to God and then my husband.
Yeah, so I agree with everything that Jada said. And definitely the marriage is sacred. As you were saying, though, you marry a person and you saying your I do's, that's that contract before God. That shouldn't be broken. There are circumstances that have happened where it gets broken, but that's something that for me I value the most. Like if I'm going to marry a person, I'm gonna marry this person. This is who I'm going to be with for life. There is no divorce. There is no we gonna work on it. We can even be at odds, but we still gonna be one as a family, Mr. and Mrs. Pelham.
I like it. What do y'all feel is, y'all say y'all agree with marriage? Obviously I do too, because I'm married.
Yes.
But what does marriage mean to y'all as men? For the men that's listening to our show that's kind of thinking like, do I want to get married? Do I want to propose to my girl? I'm scared. I don't really know what marriage means or how my life might change. What does marriage mean to y'all? And then I'll give my answer as a married man afterward.
I think it's everything, honestly. I feel like when I think about the concept of marriage, one, I've been alive, 38 years, right? I've only really seriously thought about it one time. So it's one of them decisions where it's like, you really don't, there's very few people that come into that realm. And when they're in that realm or they're in that space and you can see it, that's when you really start, manifesting. You really start putting things together, and it's I feel like everything comes together at that point. That leads to children. You start thinking about your legacy. You start thinking about, what's the point? What's the purpose? The purpose, have your wife, have your family, provide, protect. So that's it. Like the quintessential definition of what you're here to do. That's it. To me, it's a very deep commitment. Marriage is one of them bonds where I feel like now it's been taken a little ways, but I feel like if we stick with the old school values of I'm only asking this once. I'm only doing this once. I don't want to turn it into a sequel, a part 2, or a third time's the charm.
Oh,
you know how wild that sounds to me?
These people out here that's getting married 4 times.
Third time's the charm?
Yeah.
Like, nah, I really only foresee myself doing it once, and hopefully with that one time I get it right. So yeah, when it comes down to partners and everything else, that's where you should get it right at.
Yeah, so to piggyback on what Noah was saying is that it's definitely about the partnership, that union, that bond. Again, somebody that can uplift you and help you be your best version of yourself. And when you two come together, y'all are even twice as better. For me, I thought about it twice. I only actually proposed once. Like really proposed and actually bought a ring, went through the whole process and everything. And when I was in that state of mind, I seen that person as me not living my life without her. Like it was, even to this day, we still keep in contact, but like me not living my life without her, me loving her unconditionally, her loving me unconditionally, and us building our legacy and our family together. And that was like everything for me, because I grew up in a household where my dad, married my mother, and my mother unfortunately passed away, but then married my stepmother and everything, which has been my mother for basically majority of my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are some, like I said, some circumstances where you have to marry twice, but if that person is going to live that long life with you, I only want to do it once.
I think for me, it was 2 things that really came to my mind up until it was 3 days before my 30th birthday. I had this vivid ass dream where I was like a dad. And before then, I never wanted kids. And I never thought about marriage, really. But I had that dream, and it was so vivid and powerful to me when I woke up. And obviously, I was with my wife now, who was my girlfriend at the time. It's like I knew. And it was something like biological in me that had changed. My whole mental outlook on life had changed. So the first thing I did, what any man would do in that situation, I panicked. What the hell is this? I was just that guy yesterday. Now I'm like, domesticated? What is this? So me being like a very analytical person, like I researched this, like what is going on here? 2 things that stood out to me. Affectionately, I always joke with her, and I probably said to y'all too, I like to have one name on the mailbox. If I'm gonna have a child, I do not want a baby mother. I hate that concept. I grew up in a household where my father never married my mother, and I see what single parenthood does to children. Me and you, we all grew up in the same time, but me and you grew up in the same neighborhood. It was like packs of 20 of us, 25, 30 kids running around the neighborhood. And not to be on some funny shit, you could tell what kids didn't have fathers. And it kind of like, it was clear.
Yeah, you could.
You didn't have any like composure about yourself. You didn't have any like
you didn't have that balance.
Yeah, you was reckless. Yeah. You didn't have somebody that would like pop, yo, get your shit together. Come on, chill out. Whatever like that. You could tell who was coming from somewhat slightly broken homes. And I didn't want that. And I knew as a kid when I was growing up, I missed having 2 parents in the household because I had tasted it for 7 years. And then when they split up, I could tell the difference. I didn't like that feeling. So I didn't want that. So I knew I wanted to have a kid, and I knew that if I was going to have a kid, I needed to be married. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. Legacy, one name on the mailbox. The other thing that came to mind has something to do around legacy, and it was this proverb that I read that was powerful, and it still sit with me to this day. It says, I don't know where it came from, but it says something along the lines that every man should do 3 things in their life: write a book, plant a tree, have a son. And that's all about legacy. Mm-hmm. When you die, the tree lives on forever. When you die, there's a book. Those words live forever. And when you die, you have a son to carry on your name. It could be a daughter, obviously, for those who want to be technical out there. But those 3 things is so important to me, because I think as men, if you like a real dude that's about your values, you kind of want to leave your mark on this world before you leave. And if it ain't the world, you leave your mark on people that you care about, right? You want to have a positive impact on somebody that they can spread that on. And hopefully, if you're building a family, you can spread that through your family. Your beautiful son hopefully takes everything that's good about you and passes it on to his son one day. And then next thing you know, the Pelham family is of flourishing 100, 200 years from now, right? And same thing with your family in the future and mine as well. Those 2 things is super powerful. Marriage to me is, it's like another job. It's like a part of my identity. You know what I mean? Like, I lead with that. Of course, I got a real job. We do this podcast or whatever like that. But at the end of the day, I'm Alicia's husband. That's it. And I'm Sean's father. Don't nothing else matter. I could lose my job. I could get into an unfortunate accident where I'm disabled and I can't work anymore. I can't provide for my family or something like that. But everything's going to come back to that. A part of my identity is that I am Justin Underwood, husband to Alicia Underwood, and father to Sean Lyles. And guess what? Marriage means when you see them, you see me now. When you see my wife Alicia, you see Justin. And when you see my Sean, that's Justin's son. You can't say that if I'm just a guest in your house. Seriously. So marriage is extremely important to me. And I remember when I was getting married on the beach in Mexico. Shout out to they did a good job. Playa Harris. I remember when I took the vows, how fucking serious I took them shit, yo. Like, she was talking and I was like hanging on every word, like, yeah, you sickness and through health. Yep. I'm with all that. Yep. If I get sick, I'm with that. I'm doing all those numbers. It don't matter. Cancer, I'm with it. Sign me up. I took those vows super seriously, almost like in a competitive type of way. Guess what? All the people out there getting divorced ain't gonna be us. And I love that, because marriage allows you to wake up every day and challenge yourself to find a new way to love your partner. Because it's the only person that you got to impress for the rest of your life. And I'm going to impress you with my love. And that's a cool ass challenge, yo. Because not many men get that opportunity, right? We don't get the opportunity to find a special person that we're going to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm sure I want to marry you. And guess what? I'm going to do every single thing I could do to make sure that you feel loved at all times. That shit is cool. So marriage is everything to me. I take it personally, and it's a part of my identity now. And I kind of feel like guys out there who are, you know, listening to the show or listening to the clip or watching the YouTube video, you might be in a situation where you feel like, I'm not sure whether or not I want to marry her, or I'm feeling scared. We might got kids together. I don't know if I want to do this. She might not be the right one. I'm not saying take a leap of faith, but what I'm saying is take a deep look in the mirror at yourself and ask yourself a question. If you're in your 30s, your 20s, your 40s right now, ask yourself, could you see your girl right now being 70 years old, single or with somebody else? If the answer to that is no, and you love her, she the mother of your kids, you might want to marry that woman.
Yeah. That's funny. It's funny you say that. That's because when I did propose, I literally stood in the mirror of this bathroom at Golden Corral. And I was
We're not
like,
gonna talk about while we was there.
yeah, I mean, to me it was sweet, but I was in Golden Crown, stood in the bathroom mirror, and right before I did it, I was like, I asked myself similar questions, like, you know, do I want to live my life without her? You know, stuff. I was super nervous. I want you to actually tell me your story of what you went through.
Ask, yeah.
About what?
When you actually proposed, like, what was your thoughts? What did you actually do?
When I proposed or when I made the decision that I wanted to?
When you proposed.
I remember that.
Well, Jay was there.
I was there.
I
was a cameraman.
I didn't want to do no regular ass proposal, so I needed to make it somewhat special, or whatever like that. And we had this it's a spot in, well, it's all around New Jersey now, but if anybody's familiar with Playa Bowls, which is like an acai bowl, fruit bowls place, she loves that place. So she's constantly getting bowls there. She put me up on it. I love it too, so I get it often. But she would go to the one in Newark, which is kind of connected to Rutgers and Newark. She would go there a lot, so she would always get the same bowl because she don't deviate from her routine at all. But I had went there 2 days before. I had bought the ring, and I had to make a special bowl called the Say Yes Bowl. So it had like, if you order this bowl, you get it for free. And I told them to put every single thing that's in her regular bowl in the bowl so she will order it and just get it for free. Who don't like free? I love free.
I love free. So
I had to make up the sign. They were super excited. All the staff there was very they was all very accommodating. So I went back and I bought her, like, we're gonna have a date night. We're gonna go out to Playa Bowl first, but then we're gonna go out and get some steaks or whatever like that. So we went there. They put the sign up by the register. They're like, "Oh, would you like to try this new bowl, the Say Yes Bowl?" And she looked at it and she said, "Well, what's in it?" And it was like this. She's like, "Oh, that's all the stuff that's in my bowl." I'm like, "Yeah, I think you should get it. It's fucking free." She's like, "Nah, I want to get my bowl." I said, "Yo, it's the same bowl that you get, but it's free." She said, "Nah, I don't want that." The dude at the register looking at me, because he the one that drew the damn sign, he like, "What the fuck are we doing?" I'm like, "Get her the bowl. I think it'll be all right." She was like, "All right, I guess. But I'm not happy about this." I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm thinking in my head at the time, I'm like, "Well, you will be." Cool. So I asked Jay to meet me there because I want him to film it or whatever like that. I needed some kind of record of it or whatever. So I'm like, "Oh, shit, Jay's here. What do you know?" "Jay, I didn't know you come here." He was like, "Yeah, I come here all the time." "Whatever." "No, you don't." So we sat down. They brought the bowl out. The bowl had the ring in it. She opened it up. She like, "What the hell is going on here? I didn't order this. This is why I didn't want to get this fucking bowl to begin with." So I took out the ring. I proposed. I told her everything that I thought about in the mirror that you thought about at Golden Corral. I said that. She said yes. They played International Players Anthem.
Yep.
That's the music that I wanted to get. Everybody was absolutely floored.
It was a scene.
She said yes, man. It went well. That was the first time. It was the first time I really saw her cry, because Alicia ain't no crier, but she cried. That shit made me feel special and great. And then, I went around the fucking place shaking everybody's hand. And I went to go shake one young lady's hand, and she was in shock. She was frozen. I thought they had to call an ambulance for her or something like that, but she was stuck like. I was like, "Yo, what the hell is going on here?" She was sitting right next to me. She
the
was
frame
like,
rate dropped. That's what happened.
I was like, "Whoa!" She was like loading. She was like a loading screen or whatever. And I'm like, "What the hell is going on here?" But she said yes, and at that moment, I was never any more sure about anything in my life. I knew I wanted to get married, so yeah,
100% the same.
That's my proposal story.
After I walked out that bathroom, I walked there, sat at the table, faked to go tie my shoe, right next to her, presented the ring, and I was never sure any shorter thing in my life. But
beautiful.
Shit happens.
On the next episode, whole phases. But nah, I feel like it was a good conversation. Did we miss anything? Anything that we want to tell the people out there that's out there in a relationship, playing house, dudes out there listening to the show, something that you want to end on?
I guess I would say, if you're having a situation where you're playing house or you're debating whether or not you should, and there's only so many reasons you would be thinking that, you're probably not sure. You might be a little bit, indecisive. Or for some reason you think there's something better out here. I don't know if you heard the first episode.
It ain't.
Let's pee in it, baby.
I think you should just have one of those talks with yourself in the mirror and, do it. Make that woman your wife. Or, make that woman your wife. Because God forbid that woman get down on her knee in front of you.
Oh, my. Oh,
well, we didn't talk about that.
Matter of fact, we can take it there for a second. Let me take it there for a second. All right, so let's flip course. What do you do as a man? If you're ordering something, you know what I mean? You say, babe, this steak looks good. And you turn around and baby girl is on her knee with a ring in her hand looking up at you. What do you do?
What you doing?
I be talking through.
What she doing? She got the ring in her hand. You know what she doing?
I be talking through my teeth. Get your fucking ass up! Don't you embarrass me? In this goddamn restaurant like that.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Damn, man.
I think I said if anybody ever did that to me, I'm automatically turning into like a WWE match. I'm gonna drop kick you right there.
Nah,
I swear to God, everything I love, I'm drop kicking you in the knee. We're gonna play this out. It's gonna be like a.
I'm like, nah, get up. What are you doing? What's going on here?
Or you know what you do?
Let's go and talk about this.
You get down on the knee too, and you stare at each other, and you treat it like Spartacus or like 300. That's it. You just stare at each other.
What if you snatch the ring and be on some shit like, nah, I got this. Let me do it.
What do you mean? Propose with the ring she bought you?
Yeah, because you're embarrassing me.
Yeah, that's not tacky. I hear you.
You're embarrassing me.
Nah.
Like, we didn't talk about this. Is not how it's supposed to go and everything. But that's, it happens, unfortunately. I mean, or fortunately for some people. If you're into that, that's fine.
You embarrassing me here in Joe's Crab Shack. What are you doing?
That's why I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I'm really uncomfortable. We need to go talk about this.
I really don't know if I'd be able to take that. Like, I really don't.
All right, let's wrap up the show. We got some shout outs. If y'all got some shout outs too, let me shout out a real queen right now. A lot of women out there calling themselves queens. Guess what? You ain't Queen Latifah, who just broke ground on a real estate development for affordable houses. This project will include 62 and 3-bedroom market rate apartments and 4 townhouse clusters, and also 16 affordable units in a separate building. It would also have space for healthcare and other professional offices and nonprofit organizations in Newark, New Jersey. Additional phases will be finished gradually, including affordable units sometime in 2022, and the entire project itself will be done in the early 2024 year. Another shout out, and this one's kind of personal, but Kendrick Lamar. New album will be dropping before our next episode after this one goes out. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is slated to release on May 13th. I want to know, people that listen to the show, whether or not y'all feel like we should do an episode or an Instagram live or another YouTube episode where we actually review the album. Maybe do like a listening session.
Yeah.
Break it down track by track or something like that. So looking forward to that. And also kind of a shout out, but I just want to send a message out to my man, Johnny Depp. Hold your head, man. Hey, Johnny Depp, hold your head. You're doing great, man. Keep embarrassing that fucking attorney she got.
Hey,
she's a psychopath.
Her attorney looks wild.
It's tough being a man out here.
Her attorney looks OD wild. Like, yo, what are we doing?
It's tough being a man out here, man, unfortunately. And in those situations, it's really tough to be a man. And hold your head up, JD.
Yo, you being respectful, but I see you kind of like, yo, this shit is getting wild. Let me get disrespectful too. Yo, these chicks, man, some of these women out here is.
Well, Michelle Obama said, go high. So you're doing your best to go high, buddy.
Stay high, bro. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, let's end the show on this. Should have did this part of the segment. Why say yes? You get married to your woman. Who fits the mold from a TV or wife perspective as the best person that you want to have as your wife? Television wife or movie wife?
Damn.
For me, it's Claire Huxtable.
I mean that. All right.
Yeah.
I respect the decision. It's a. All right. I respect the decision. With all due respect, it's an easy decision. It's Claire Huxtable. It's Claire Huxtable.
That's what I just said.
But it's Claire.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that's the standard. That's the benchmark.
That's hard to find. But yes.
Like All right. So
She got me really pondering. It's like, who would I go with?
you know what?
Cosby Show. You got Family Matters.
Nah. Stop naming stuff because going to throw me off.
There's no Fresh Prince.
Throw me off.
Gina.
Nah.
You got a lot of options.
So my thing would be,
Give me
you know
Weezy.
what? It would be Gina.
Weezy?
Give me Weezy.
And Gina?
It would be Gina because
Give me Weezy, man.
Gina is she was career woman.
Firecracker.
She was you know me. I like a little feisty.
Yeah.
So she's a little feisty and everything. She kind
Is
of
there a
fit.
toxic episode down the pipe, man?
I think so.
She fits the mold of what I like.
As he signs,
So
the mold.
toxic. My
You know what's funny and ironic about Dre saying Gina? I'm gonna judge you right quick.
Damn.
Oh shit.
I got a feeling you would have smashed Pam though.
Oh yeah, I would have been all up in there.
Exactly. You want to take her best friend and marry her?
No, what
What is he saying?
No, if I was single, yes, I would have smashed Pam.
You would have smashed Pam while you was married to Gina.
No, not while I was married. No, because I wouldn't do that if I'm
What about
stepping out.
dating?
No, not even dating stage. Just dating. No, if we're
What if you got them both on the same night and you got Gina number first?
let me tell you about a story real quick.
shit,
But
here we go.
Truthfully, what I have had a scenario that has happened. We're not gonna go there,
I'm out of liquor.
but I just graduated high school, and that's what has happened. But nevertheless, anyway.
All right, we're gonna put a bow, wrap up episode 3, Mondo Matters season 2. Hey man, keep following with us through this journey. We appreciate all the listens. The downloads is going up, the streams is going up,
Appreciate y'all.
the YouTube views is going up,
Yes.
the real views is going up.
Yes.
Everything's going up.
Yes.
So before the show gets too big, share with your family, share with your friends, give us some feedback. You already know the Mondo Matters email address is mindonmatterspodcast@gmail.com. Hit our inboxes up. We respond to all messages, all comments, and we're a show for the people. And we'll check y'all next week, episode 4.
Shout out to True Epiphany for these glasses. Good luck.
Erica, shout out. Peace.
Got to pee like a racist.